Hello and welcome to another edition of Things That Might Make Me Gag. Today we're out in my backyard, and this is our water tank here. So just a brief explanation. I've done this before. You may remember, many of you may remember seeing me do this a couple of years ago right after we moved into this house, and it's disgusting. So we have what's called an artesian well here in our backyard. Right, it's actually at the front yard, and it comes in. An artesian well is a well that's naturally pressurized. Because of the geography underground, the water is naturally under pressure. You could literally go and there's a tap out in the front yard. You could turn it on, water comes out with no motors, no pumps, no pressurized tanks, nothing. The water from the artesian well goes into this holding tank where it sits. This is called an aeration tank, actually, where it sits to get a lot of the sulfur smell out of the water. It sits here. When water is demanded from the house, it goes via these pipes into there's a pump in the closet in there that actually takes the water from here and pumps it into a pressurized holding tank, and then that tank provides pressure to the whole house. Well, last year I had to clean this out because, or almost 3 years ago, I had to clean this out because the house had sit for so long that algae had grown up inside there. Well, we had this. I didn't think the whole process through. I opened it up and I pressure washed the inside. It was disgusting. And what I forgot to, or neglected to even consider, was that with all the algae floating around in the water as I was cleaning it, if somebody in the house had flushed a toilet or turned on the sink or the dishwasher, the demand for that water would suck a lot of the floating algae chunks into the plumbing of the house. And I really fucked up the plumbing in the house really bad. Every faucet was clogged, gunked with algae. I actually had to replace a couple of the faucets because I couldn't clean them. So this time I've put signs on every faucet, every sink, and notified every family member to not use water while I'm doing this. So now I'm going to do it again. Let's see how bad it is. It's actually not that bad. Look at the, that looks like, see, this is so essentially the way this works is water comes in from the artesian well in the yard and flows in through here. It really is what it looks like. It's a toilet float with a shut-off valve that is identical to what you would find in a toilet. So if I push this down, it'll think it's not full, and it'll continue filling it. Float comes up and it turns the valve off, and it's full. So what I need to do is clean this all out. So the first thing is, let me remove this is the chlorine float. We'll come back to that. I need to empty the water out right here, this valve. Okay. Suppose I could have done that from the beginning. How are we doing here? It's emptying. See, now look, you see all that shit floating around in there? That's the shit where now if somebody was in the house and were to flush the toilet, bad things would happen. So, while it's draining, I'm going to commence with the hosing offing. Why is the... Oh, shit. Uh-oh. So did you hear that sound in the house? I don't know if you could hear that or not. That was the pump in the house. What I neglected to even consider was that this fucking hose is It draws from the same place that water in the house comes from. Shit. Shit. It's gonna burn out. Alright, so to recap while I'm waiting for this to fill up, where I fucked up was I forgot that the hose I was using to clean out the inside of the tank was actually coming from the pressurized tank inside the house, because it comes from the spigot that's coming off the side of the house over there. What I should have done was connect the hose to the artesian well directly and just use the pressurized water coming out of the ground to clean the inside of the tank. So while the tank was empty, the pump inside the house came on, trying to take water from this tank to put it inside the pressurized tank inside. This was empty, so I think I might have turned the tank off before the pump was damaged. But before that even happened, the pump came on and took the algae-coated water from the tank, so I think I introduced a bunch of algae chunks into the house plumbing system, which is why I went around the house and took all the filters and stuff off the showers and the sinks. So we'll see what happens.